What's up, Nail Geeks, and welcome back to another Monarch Lacquer video. We have the Weathering the Storm collection. This is a 6-piece set of pretties to check out, inspired by going through rough times and coming out of it. I feel like I'm not the only one that's been going through some shit, for lack of better words. So anyone going through a rough time, all my makers, everyone, big hugs. And per our PR notes, there's always an end to even the most terrible storm, most often followed by sunshine. That's really beautiful. And again, big hugs, lots of love. Anyone going through a tough time. Let's check out some pretty polishes. Let's check out the swatches and see what we've got. First up is Thunder Echo. This is described as a light greige base with pink to orange shifting microflake and silver reflective glitter. I would classify Thunder Echo as a straight up crelly-like finish. It is very smooth in application. It flirts with being a milky sort of finish. However, you can reach it to full opacity. So just kind of right there teetering on the edge in between. I would suggest 3 light coats or 2 normal coats, as this plumped up very easily and built to opacity perfectly. I didn't have any issues with over buildup or anything like that. The reflective glitters are quite scattered, so I do think you'll need a glitter smoothing top coat, but it doesn't dry down too gritty and harsh. Finish with a good glossy top coat and you are good to go. This leaned quite warm and neutral on me, so I do think it's going to play up against skin tones. Skyfire is a light purple leaning gray base with fine yellow to orange to cherry Aurora shimmer. This one's my top pick in the entire set. It is so pretty, and it starts off almost like a sheer, but you can build it up to full opacity too. Very similar to Thunder Echo in how it starts off soft, but it just pops with full coverage on that third coat. And I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat to finish this one off. This is very glowy. I think what you're mostly going to see is that beautiful reddish pinkish type shimmer. It's quite shifty in person. I easily saw the yellow and orange at angles when I wiggled my nails in indirect lighting. This one dries down semi-flat, so I think any top coat is perfectly fine. Acid Rain is a light taupe base with magenta to green Aurora shimmer loaded with yellow, green, teal shifting chameleon flakes. This one also pulled incredibly neutral on me, both flakes and shimmer, and pretty much I would say the base too. The base is pretty translucent, at least to my eyes, so I think it's also going to play up against skin tones. I'm going to suggest 2 light or 3 normal coats. I think this one is intended to be more on the softer side and how it builds up. So for that reason, it's totally your preference, especially on how you polish too. No issues with texture or thirstiness. I just went in with the glossy top coat and it was perfect. I don't know how I feel about this one on me, to be completely honest. I don't know, it's interesting. It's warm upon warm in the shift, and I think it just almost leaned like a nude to me. Ominous Sky is a muted khaki green base with a fine green to bronze shifting shimmer. This is another warm type of color, but I thought it popped really well on me. I think 2, possibly 3 coats is perfect for opacity. Wide load nail problem here. Of course, I took it up to 3 coats and it plumped beautifully. This also dries down semi-flat, so any top coat is perfect. At the time that I'm voice recording this, we're actually having pretty torrential storms here too. It's really interesting. Schools are actually closed. We've got flooding all over the place. It is bananas. So I am feeling this stormy type of feel. And I have to say, Ominous Sky matches up with how it looks when these big thunderstorms have been hitting us. Anyways, Ominous Sky has a beautiful shift to it. It's a touch subtle, but definitely noticeable in person. You'll see this lovely bronzy glow in direct light, and at angles, you'll see that nice green shift. Raindrop Prism is my next top pick in the set. This one's so glowy pretty. It's described as a teal violet shifting shimmer doused with hollow flakes. I think this one doesn't really have a colored base per se, but it has that quote unquote pseudo type of buildup in that the shimmer is what's giving you that full coverage effect. I think 2 to 3 coats is perfect. However, I'm going to strongly urge you to go up to 3 coats on this to maximize that shimmer effect, and it's just so glowy. This one looks beautiful, especially in indoor lighting. I think going in with any top coat is perfect, as it dried down semi-flat and I didn't have any issues with texture per se. This is so stinking pretty. I think I dare say this is that tealish sort of shimmer that I drill over during the willet topper segments. And lastly is Storm Surge. This is a clear base with micro ultra chameleon chrome flakes that shift blue, plum, red, and micro hollow flakes. Adrienne said in our PR notes that this is considered organized chaos in a bottle, that she has not done a finish like this before. And I have to say, ma'am, it looks like you mastered it on this first go. This is so pretty. I would have to say this is probably my third favorite in this set. I really enjoyed this. It's blingy, and yes, I know it's flirting with being a kitchen sink polish, meaning it's got all kinds of things in it. But when you build it up, it's so worth it. The blue flake glow is beautiful. There's an easy shift between blue to purple, and those hollow flakes are one of my favorite type of components. They are quite rainbowy in bright lights. I'm going to suggest 3 really light coats because this has a strong plumping factor and a good glossy top coat to make that hollow sing. And to chase the clouds away, we've got the Willet Topper segment. This is where I use a black swatch stick to demonstrate if polishes have layering capabilities. These were interesting, and I wasn't sure what to expect, as the finishes overall were a little just overall interesting. They're leaning in between curlies and jellies, but they're quite packed full of pigments. So I have to say, I think across the board, they all work. So Skyfire, especially with that beautiful shimmer. Acid Rain, this is what I'm talking about. I think you can topper this over anything and it's going to be really, really pretty. Those flakes are chonky and loud, so you'll get that beautiful contrast between them and the shimmer. Ominous Sky, I think is just a touch opaque to be toppered, but I do think there's a bit of potential here if you go in incredibly thin. Raindrop Prism is like Acid Rain. You can do all sorts of things with this, and it's such a lovely, glowy shimmer. And then lastly, Storm Surge is also opaque for this. So I think this can truly work, but you'll need to almost dry brush it if you're going to topper it. That way you'll get a scatter of the flakes as opposed to this straight up dense appearance you see on this swatch stick. So the Weathering the Storm collection is going to go up Tuesday, April 30th at 2 p.m. Central Time. I will have the information below in the description box, including links to Monarch Lacquer's website and the Facebook group if you want to join that. Myself, Lisa, and Victoria are admins over there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.